Okay, we keep going with the drama. Hope you enjoyed the drama. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we are making in this fabric the Lockhart dress from Helen's closet. I have asked on the community tab if you guys were more into a long chatty rambly video, like kind of like I have been doing so far, or if you were more interested in a short summary of how the sewing went and then maybe the key points review of the pattern, fabric, and maybe any important lessons learned. And most of you were happy with the rambliness that I normally present. I guess it's self-selection. If you're still here, you probably don't mind me talking as much as I do. But for the ones of you who do want something a little bit more straight to the point, what I will try to do is have the vlog part of the video first, like I normally do, and I chat through everything. But then I will, at the end, really come back through the key points. So if you don't want to hear me talk today, please go straight to the end, look into the chapters of the video. I always put them in, go to the end, and it's where you can see how it went. If I have any important notes I want you guys to know before you sew these patterns, and anything of interest is going to be at the end. So I'll see you there if you want to see only that bit, and otherwise let's get sewing. I hope you can't hear too much of the magpies. I have to say it's quite nice to have the window open, and maybe if you hear the magpies it gives you a little bit of a nature feel, a little bit of a relax. Just tiny haul. I bought this canvas here to make my Persephone pants, and this one for the Springer dress I'm going to make. But I'm first going to iron this fabric, which is the one I'm going to be using for the Lockhart. And I thought, what better place to chat with you guys than while ironing, isn't it? Literally the best way to chit chat. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about how nice you guys were this weekend. My video about I hope that the ASMR from the ironing is not too annoying, but I posted the video about my gingham dress, the one you're going to see on Monday, the swimsuit review. I have filmed literally weeks ago, if not over a month ago, so that was no extra work for me now, like it has been filmed and scheduled for a really long while. But I feel like I worried a few of you by how low I looked, I guess. I thought I was hiding it well, but clearly seeing the comments afterwards, I was like, oh no, they clearly picked up on the fact that I wasn't doing too well. Not gonna lie, I wasn't doing too well, but it had nothing to do with the video or with the pressure of doing the gingham project. Life has been a bit challenging, work has been a bit challenging, but I have to say, like, first you can trust that I would not stress myself over YouTube more than, you know, a reasonable amount. Like, I'm like, oh, it's nice if I can have my 2 videos up, but it's not the end of the world if I don't. And also, I don't really see myself posting 2 videos for a really long time. Vaguely in my head, but like, just between us, I'm kind of picturing maybe until September, you know, kind of like the end of the European summer, and then at the end of summer moving on to only once a week. I think I kind of wanted to start with 2 videos to be able to grow my channel, to be able to do a lot of videos, to also give myself more room of being able to test what works less well. You know, having a bigger output allows me to understand better what works or not. But realistically, I'll never have enough sewing output to keep posting 2 videos forever. Imagine how much I would need to sew. Wouldn't be sustainable. So it was so sweet of you to leave the messages you did leave. I was really touched to think that people who don't even know me personally would be so nice. Generally, and especially because coming on the back of a tough week, I was just like, oh my god, they are truly the nicest. And I feel like everyone's like, my audience is the nicest, my audience is the nicest. But oh gosh, I was like, no, guys, my audience is the nicest, and I have proofs. So don't you guys worry, I'm really taking good care of myself. I mean, this week was tough, but now I am taking good care of myself. And that week, I didn't mind pushing through for the gingham dress. And if you can imagine a moment when life is particularly hard, being able to focus on something else and having a zipper turning wrong as your worst issue, it's actually not that bad. If the zipper not being nicely sewn is the worst that's happening to you at that moment, it feels like it's fine. And so I don't know if it makes sense, but it was kind of a welcome distraction, and putting pressure on myself to finish the dress allowed me to force myself to get out of other thoughts. So really, thank you so much, but like, thank you so much for your messages. For me, YouTube, it was always going to be something I do for pleasure, so I'm not planning to overdo it. And I know I complained a lot in that gingham dress video. It was a bit of a pain, but I have decided I am going to buy myself an invisible zipper foot. I have literally 4 projects in the direct lineup coming up that will need invisible zippers, and I was like, there's no point suffering through all of them, and I thought I could also go back in the gingham dress and trying to help that zipper as well. So yeah, I just wanted to say again thank you, and really not to worry about me. I'm really not going to, I mean, it was a tough week, but it wasn't the video and it wasn't the dress, is what I'm trying to say. Otherwise, this weekend I went to see my mom and very Belgian activity. We went to make waffles and she left us so many waffles. I have literally like my weight in waffles at home at the moment. I'm not sure how we're going to get through them, especially because I didn't think I ate that many, and then my wife was like, you ate 5, and the Belgian waffles, they're not the little heart-shaped ones that you can see around the world. Like, they're decent sized, but they're so nice when they come out of the waffle iron, and they are cushiony and soft inside but crispy outside. They don't stay crispy outside very long. You have to eat them out of the iron, otherwise they don't stay crispy. So I maybe had a few too many waffles, but that was a great weekend. And the reason why I wanted to say I went to see my mom is that she wanted to see my YouTube channel, but my mom doesn't speak English. And then I put some of the video on and she just couldn't stop watching. And I was like, are you alright? Are you enjoying this? You don't understand what's happening? And she was like, yeah, it's just so nice to see you do your thing. And it was just really funny to see her completely like transfixed by the video, not having any clue what was happening. So I was trying to translate as we went, but yeah, it was kind of cute, and kind of cute how supportive and excited she was despite not understanding what was happening. And you know, I mean, I guess you can imagine, but the way you speak to a camera is a little bit more animated than you speak to friends. Like, you know, if you speak your normal chillness, it seems really flat on camera. So I guess naturally you have a bit of a camera persona that's a little bit more intense than your normal one. And I think she was really transfixed by that Noémie persona that she didn't know. So yeah, that was very cute. My dad understands a tiny bit of English, so I think, oh no, there's a hole in the fabric. I mean, it's fine, it's totally on the edge, but how did that happen? My dad understands a bit of English, but so my mom understands the concept of YouTube, but doesn't speak English. My dad speaks a little bit of English, like I think enough to get vaguely by. I don't think it's that good, but he doesn't really understand YouTube, so he sent me a message when it was right when my video about the bra making was starting to pick up. And in the end, this video has 8,000 views, but at the time he sent me a message and I was like, I saw one of your posts on Google and it has 3,000 views, that's incredible. And yeah, I was totally lost. I was like, my post on Google? What are we talking about? But yes, he meant he saw one of my YouTube videos and he's very supportive as well, despite not understanding. I find it so nice that both of them don't understand in their own way, but also are just really supportive, no matter, you know, that it doesn't matter, they don't fully get it, they're proud of me, and I don't know, find that it's quite nice and that I'm quite lucky to be in this situation. I'm sure some people would have more judgy families or family that don't get it. Finally, last point I wanted to make, and then I'll go and put a YouTube video on for myself and have someone talk to me instead of me talking to you, is you will notice that this summer I am making, in the end, 3 different wedding outfits. It is because I originally bought this fabric because the fabric I wanted for the Springer jumpsuit wasn't available anymore. I was a bit disappointed. It's a fabric I really liked. Yada yada yada. I buy this fabric, I have the other fabric for the other dress, and I had planned to make 2 outfits and to wear my Elodie wrap dress for the 3rd wedding. Was going to be perfect. Then the fabric I really liked came back in stock. So I went to see it in person because I had seen it only online, and you know, sometimes it's nice online but you see it in person, you're like, not working. But it was so nice. I saw it in person, I almost cried. It was so beautiful. I was like, this is as nice, if not nicer, in person than on the website, and I was so happy. And it was also a really reasonably priced fabric. All the fabrics I got this summer, they're all cotton based, and that makes them a lot cheaper than what I usually use. I usually use a lot of Liz Taylor and Atelier Brunette viscose, and those tend to be at around 20 euros a meter or more, maybe sometimes like 22, 23 euros a meter. So for a dress, you know, you easily at 70 to 80 euros for your dress. So here, having lots of fabrics that are more between 12 or 15 euros a meter makes a big difference in the final price of your garment. I will try to remember to always put in the video how much I paid for the garment. This way in the future you can see how much everything costs, and you'll see that the 3 weddings outfits I'm making myself this year are really affordable. For wedding outfits, really good. But I just wanted to say, now I'm going to have 3 new weddings outfits for the 3 weddings I have, and normally I would want to rewear something from last year, and it's just not sustainable if every year I make a new outfit for every single wedding. Like, it's not something I normally do. It's not good for your wallet, it's not good for the planet, it's too much output. But coming back to the first point, these last few weeks having been quite tough, I also kind of decided that I would treat myself to nice fabrics and nice projects to have something to look forward to. And so there is a little bit of mental health and just treat sewing. So just wanted to let you know, this is not really how I would normally do everything. This is definitely more output than I would normally make. But I don't do shopping therapy in the normal sense of the term, because I don't shop for clothes really, but it made me really happy to have lots of projects and to be able to focus on other things. So this is why this year I have a lot of projects. This is not what every year looks like, I promise. I don't sew quite that many, especially that many dresses that are basically, you know, occasion wear that you can't wear that often and that much. So yeah, I think that was all of the different points I wanted to make. I'm going to keep ironing without you guys, and you will go on to see me sew the Lockhart dress. Guys, I've done it. I bought myself an invisible zipper foot, which is going to be great for making my Lockhart, but also I decided to test it on the gingham dress, which needed a redemption arc. So this is my new foot. How nice. It was 10 euros, which is worth it for what I'm going to use it. And I just wanted to show. So the first line all on the left here is the first line of stitching I did. This is the second one I did. Try to be a bit better. And this is the third one, is the one I just did now with the invisible zipper foot. So I'm super happy. I'm going to finish to the other side and show you, and I'm also going to trim this. I was a bit too annoyed when I finished the dress, but now I'm gonna trim this and make it all nice. The lady at the store was explaining to me, and it felt really complicated the way she was explaining it. I was like, just put the foot on, see if it feels logical. It felt extremely logical. I just went for it, and I'm so happy. If you wonder why I have a bit of a strange collar zip for this dress, also for the Lockhart, and you will see for all of my next project, I actually bought lots of zippers at €1 at a sales at my fabric store. I kind of guessed the type of colors I would like, and I did pretty well. Like, the zippers I have matches the fabric I have quite well, but for example, there's examples like here when it's a bit weird, it's a light blue in a gingham, but it works fine. And I think the other ones I have bought work fine in the project I've put them. But you'll see in the Lockhart, it's also a bit of a weird combinations, I think it'll be fine. However, I want to reconfirm that unpicking double gauze is a true pain. Another good point for the invisible zipper foot, I'm in love. You don't even need to change it because with the normal zipper foot, you need to change it from left to right of the foot and everything. Here, you just do one, do the other, and Bob's your uncle. Guys, look at this. Why did I suffer for 3 years? Like, even if I pull, you can't see the zip. It's like invisible, like the name suggests. This is madness. Going into the office because my wife's playing video game and she has like the little sounds going. And I just wanted to say, because I'm really the one who normally, I don't like buying tools that have only one purpose. I like to buy stuff that's going to be useful for a lot of things. And an invisible zipper foot is a foot that is useful for only one purpose. And normally I don't buy that type of things. But I have tested and I can tell you, buy the foot. Buy that invisible zipper foot. Honestly, the internet says you can do it with a normal zipper foot. It's just not the same. The result is just crazy. I am blown away by how easy and quick this was and how much better. I have tested it for you from someone who really doesn't buy too many gadgets for sewing. The invisible zipper foot, the best 10 euros spent recently for sure. Okay, and quick story time. I am actually off sick this week, so I'm not at work, and what went through my head the moment I was not working was, oh my god, I'm going to sew a garment today for this week and it's going to be amazing. Except that I had not thought, but I'm not super well. And so actually, I spent my day in bed. I didn't spend my day sewing. I basically did like 10 minutes of sewing and then I was like, I'm dying, going back to bed. So yes, like I have time to sew during the day, but I have absolutely no energy. So we'll see if this video goes out on Friday or on Monday. I have absolutely no pressure for myself because I'll see how things are. But it was really the thing where I was like, I'm off, I'm gonna sew plenty. And it's like, no, it's body said no for this. But I don't know if you have also a mind that's all about like, what can I do? It's going to be productive and I'm going to be super productive during my sick time. It's like, not how it's going to go, sadly. I was generally starting to think that there would be nothing to vlog in this video because so far everything's going smoothly and there's no troubleshooting to show you. Yesterday I've made the bodice of my Lockhart dress. It wasn't troubleshooting. I needed to do quite a few fittings, so I basted the sleeves and then I went and I had my wife's help. Honestly, I'm not sure how you would do this on your own because I really wanted the strap here to be kind of like matching where my bra strap would be so that, I mean, I'm not gonna not wear a bra, so you're gonna see my bra straps, but if at least they match and they're really in the same place, it's not gonna be as visible. I also wanted to make sure that the strap was short enough so that you wouldn't see the back of my bra. So I wanted to make sure that the straps were short enough that it was holding everything up high enough. So it took a couple of basting, going back, trying again, and then, but all together, I would say, yes, you have to baste and test and baste and test. But it was fairly easy. I'm really enjoying for once working with cottons instead of viscose. It's so stable, it's so cool. It's very easy. But today, I finally got my first challenge. I mean, challenge, I'm saying this very lightly because it's not a challenge. I just had a moment of like, wait. So as I was ironing my darts, and you have to iron them towards the front, I was like, okay, so the zip is here, ironing towards the middle, perfect. And then I was like, zip is here, ironing, and I was like, wait, the zipper can't be on the same size on both sides. And actually I realized, because I closed this very close to the selvage, I realized that this is actually the middle and this is the place where the zipper ends. So I must have mixed up with the notches for the pockets with this side, so it's fine. There's just a bit of interfacing that's going to be on the pocket. It's going to make my pocket stronger, if anything. So I just need to recut a bit of interfacing and putting it on this side. Just to say, it was good to be awake and not to go, okay, center front, and to be like, wait, this should be opposite. And the zipper can't be on the right-hand side for both because that wouldn't make sense. So, sorry, not much drama content in this video, but it's just going really well, and I'm just going to put a bit more interfacing on the other side and keep ticking along. This is the high drama content you guys signed up for. I need to redo my darts. Let me show you what happened. Because I was saying, oh, I must have mixed up the markings, but I had not mixed up the markings because there were no markings on the other side. So, I mean, it's not that I mixed up the marking I saw, it's that I put the markings on the wrong side. And actually, if you look here, like that, the dart should finish here. And it does not. So I need to unpick the darts and re-put it in the right place. It's slightly annoying. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but I was hoping to get a good amount of the skirt done, and now that slows me down a bit, but it's fine. Nothing is unfixable at this point. I'm not fully sure how the switcheroo happened. I think I cut my pieces and then I had to go away and do something else, and then I came back and then put the markings only once I came back, and so I think that is how I mixed up the markings. Sewing is truly, okay, that's the front and that is correct, so I need to not unpick that by mistake. Sewing is truly never boring. This is a mistake I have never ever done. I also normally cut and put my markings in one go. That's so annoying because at the end of my dart I have very tight stitches, very small stitches that are very closely together. This is going to be a pain to unpick. But yeah, truly a mistake I have never done before. And you know, over 3 years of sewing later, discovering a new way to do a new mistake. How novel, how fun. You never know. Sewing, never boring. Okay, we keep going with the drama. First, I mean, the fabric has marked a little bit with the dart, but it's all right. But looking at it this way, it is very obvious that the dart, I've cut it to be there. So basically, I'm gonna have cut my piece wonky. This is going to be the center front. I hope not to regret this later, but honestly, I think it's gonna make more sense because the darts are cut wrong. This is the center front and not cut straight because it wasn't against the selvage, and this is the selvage, and this is going to become the side. I know it's a bit crazy, but honestly I think it's what makes the most sense at the moment. And maybe you're thinking, oh Noémie, you were feeling so chuffed about having saved fabric and cut it very smart, blah blah blah. Do you regret now? Hi, Noémie from the future. I realized that I have never told you I had leftover fabric. The way I placed my pieces on the fabric when I was cutting them, I had a whole meter left over because I always really try to do a Tetris with my pieces and to use as little fabric as possible. So I managed again this time and I saved a whole meter. My fabric is non-directional, which also helped me to make the most of the fabric because I could put the two skirts facing this way instead of having to put them that way, if that makes sense. So I realized I had not told you, I'm telling you now, and enjoy the rest of the video. Do you regret now? I don't. I still think I could have saved the meter of fabric. Where the issue is and is that I clearly put my piece wrong. So trying to understand what happened. Then I put the marking right for the piece I put wrong, but I clearly put my piece wrong on the fabric when I was cutting it. And I think the reason I went wrong without realizing is that to be able to patchwork, to put all of my pieces, I flipped it over, and so I maybe didn't pay attention anymore on which side was the straight side. So it's not the end of the world. I think it'll still be fine. It's also luckily, you know, a pattern that's so busy. I don't think you're gonna be able to see, oh, it's a bit of grain or whatever. Anyway, it means that the sides of me are going to be straight. I mean, it's gonna be totally fine, to be honest. I'm not overly worried. Just a bit of a note to myself, something to pay attention to in the future, because it's not nice to think like, oh, I just literally put my piece wrong on the fabric. But I was also really, really low energy yesterday, so I will give myself some grace. Yeah, I will just re-sew the dots I just unpicked, and then I will add the little bit of, so because now this piece with the selvage is becoming the side, I will then add a little bit of the interfacing here, and then we are good to go. And I just need to re-iron this dot the other way around, and we're good to go, and it's like nothing happened. But yeah, maybe I will just spend one more second looking at all of this, confirming that this is all right before I re-sew it. But I think this is what's happening. I think it's fine. Yeah, I should not have said like, oh my god, it's going swimmingly, there's no drama. There is drama. Sorry. So we're back on track. It took me about half an hour to think I understood what was happening, really understand, fix it, unpick, re-sew. So now I have fixed everything. I mean, I can't fix it because it's cut wrong and I don't think it's worth recutting. I think it's going to be fine. But just so we know, this made me lose half an hour in the process, but it's fine. I think, hope you enjoyed the drama. Also, this is where I'm particularly happy it's a super stable cotton, because if it had been a viscose or something that grows a little bit more, it could have been an issue to have the zip off grain. It's not even on the bias, like it's just slightly off grain. And if I had done this mistake on a viscose or something more delicate, I think I would have interfaced the whole seam to kind of like make sure we were safe. But I think with this very stable cotton, we're going to be fine. I really have the thing where after doing one mistake and realizing what a silly mistake I've made, my confidence a bit knocked, and I'm like doing the pockets and like I've sewn so many pockets, it's fine, but I'm really double checking everything and kind of like not sure about anything I do anymore. I'm like, what if I mess up the pockets? But yeah, you know, it's like your confidence takes a hit a little bit. Guys, look at this. Okay, so I have attached the skirt. I'm going to show you something that I would show only sewer friends. I think the rest of the world is not going to care. So if we look in selfie mode, the seam doesn't fully match the dot. I don't know even if you can see, but here as well, the seam doesn't fully match the dot. Not the end of the world, it's fine, but could have been nice if it like followed perfectly, but that's life. Now, and it's because my wife is not there tomorrow, so I wanted to make sure I reached this step today where she's going to help me mark where I want my zipper to be, because my bodice is a touch too wide, so I just want her to put pins so I see how narrow, like how tight I need to put my zipper. So, and also I'm so short, like the midi length is quite long on me. Maybe once it's hemmed it's fine. Also with the pants it's hard to imagine have full pants underneath, so it's not really giving the perfect effect you'd want. I'll see that, I mean, hemming is the really last step, so I'll see if I want it a bit shorter. At the same time, it looks maybe more classy if it's a bit longer to see. So right now I'm going to strip, because obviously I'm not going to wear a t-shirt underneath the dress. I'm going to strip and have my wife put pins for me so I can put the zipper with my new zipper foot. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, if you leave it open, it's not super flattering, but if the waist is there, yay, that's so cool. Honestly, because in the end I bought other fabrics for other wedding, I was like, oh, it's sad because I really like this one when I bought it, but now I feel like it's the least nice of all of my options, but I still really like it. It still makes me very happy. I think it will look nice on the dance floor at the wedding. Yay. I'm just pinned. I still need to put the zipper in, but I just wanted to show you without the t-shirt how it looks. My wife put the pins for the zipper and she found it very stressful, but she managed. And once more, I think I don't really know how I would do without extra help, because obviously it's nice to have someone in your back to do it for you. Would be much trickier without help. You'd need to baste the zipper in, test it, and then rebaste, but could damage the fabric to baste it too often. So happy, this is going to be so nice. Hey, it's the next day. Wearing the same t-shirt. To be honest, I'm not gross. I wear this t-shirt at home and then I went to do things outside and I changed into nice clothes, and now I'm back into this t-shirt for sewing again. Kind of my comfy clothes. I wanted to show you, made the zipper. My wife isn't at home today and I really wanted to have her help to fit the zipper into the dress, because I knew that was something, like in the end, as you can see, I had quite a wide seam allowance to take. I mean, this is more than 1.6 on either side. So really, that was really good to have her. It fits so nicely now, thanks to her help. I am so pleased once more with my invisible zipper foot's work. So happy with this. I'm showing you this because we are friends and we are all, you know, interested in sewing here, but look at that. Isn't that sad? It doesn't match in the back. I first made it match there because I really wanted the waist to match, but then the top wasn't. I still need to finish the top properly, but the top wasn't matching well. I was like, well, it's more important that the top matches. So I made the top match, but now this doesn't match up anymore, which I find so upsetting. And it's really funny because it's the first time I do a construction like this, and I needed a second to understand why it wasn't matching, but now I understand what happens, and I feel like I could do better next time. It's always interesting, those things, when it's the first time and it's like, well, clearly it doesn't match, and I can't make it match now, but why and how? I found it really interesting to have to figure that out and understand the mistake to try to do better next time. To be honest, the fabric is so busy, I really don't think anyone's going to be able to tell if they don't come like super close to me. But yeah, I'm so pleased with this dress so far, and today I'm alone at home, so I can chip away at finishing this at my own ease, at my own pace. So that's very nice. Yeah, excited to keep working on this. I just wanted to say something I made different in the construction of my Lockhart compared to what Helen's recommends, is that I prefer sewing up the top of the zipper, and now I'm going to come and shut the bottom. When in her construction, she sews the bottom and then goes and does the top. But I don't know, it reassures me more to know that the top is really well aligned, and now I'm going to sew the bottom. And you know, if there's a couple of millimeters not matching here at the bottom, it's easier to chop and forget about it than if the top isn't matching. For me, the top is so crucial, so that's why I preferred starting with the top, and now I'm going to finish up. Also because my zipper is very long. I got on special at €1 when I bought lots and lots of zippers, but I think it's totally fine in this dress. I mean, you can't see it anyway. It's invisible thanks to my invisible zipper foot. I could become like a salesperson for invisible zipper feet. I love them so much. I love mine so much. I'm so happy we've met and that he's in my life now. Okay, but staying focused. So I find it crucial for the top to be well made, so I need to finish the bottom now to match where she is in the construction of the dress. That's kind of like the only big modification I've been making to the construction of the dress compared to the pattern. And because my zipper is longer than what's planned, I think I'm going to sew a little tack here before the place where the fabric meets, because otherwise what you end up having is that it's the fabric meeting here that stops your zipper when you zip your dress open, and then it's quite a lot of stress on the fabric, and you can actually damage the fabric if it's a delicate fabric. So guys, I broke my needle. This is not the first time I broke a needle, but quite that dramatically. I was sewing very carefully, I want to say, over my zipper, but look at this. I mean, how did it break into like this? How? What happened? I was trying to do this little cover. By the way, I really enjoy that Helen makes you do a little cover for the end of your zipper. I think that's a super nice touch. But we had a casualty. To be honest, now I think I could have probably made the waist match and then try to just adapt the top, maybe refolding a little bit, you know, something like this, like refolding this a little bit further over, and that it could have worked. I mean, it's fine, it's done, but thinking about it now, I think I could have maybe made the waist match and that it would have been nicer, but oh well. I'm a bit annoyed. Not end of the world annoyed, it's totally going to be fine. It's not going to prevent me from enjoying the dress once it's finished. But now I'm like, I should have made the waist match and then make the top match. And Helen has actually, the checkpoint fitting number 3 is about checking the waist, and checkpoint fitting number 4 is about making the top match. So she even explains how to make it happen so it looks very nice. So don't make the mistake I'm making and have a beautiful waistline that goes nicely through the zipper. I wish, I mean, at this point, you know, the zipper's in and everything, but wish I had done differently. Going to be honest, it took me quite a few times to attach the lining to the zipper. I first forgot to tack the zipper in, so the zipper tape was like poking out. Then I sewed it another time, and I realized that the lining was too high, and so that it wouldn't you know, be low enough to be stitched in the ditch when I come and stitch in the ditch. So I went back, and then I sewed it the first time, and it was really, really far away from the zipper teeth, and so it just didn't look good. So I didn't unpick it that time, but I actually just went a second time to try to go a little bit closer to the zipper teeth. And now, finally, have one side done. I'm going to do the other side and try to not restart it 5 times this time. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful on the first try. That is very, very nice. One thing I always do is I always turn it over and check that everything's fine before clipping the corners like you are meant to do. And I'm really happy I did for the previous side, as I had to restart it at least 3 times. I mean, I had to unpick it quite a few times. You know, if I had clipped really happily after my first try without going to check how it went, I had done that with one of my wife's shirts when I was starting to sew, and then I had to make do with a clipped corner that shouldn't have been clipped, and so she has this really weird bit. I mean, we never think about it, and sometimes I see the seam and I'm like, oh yeah, there's the one with the clipped bit. Oh, this is so pretty. No, it's very nice. So little tip for you along the way, I always first check and then cut. Check twice, cut once, as they like to say. Okay, I will still need to stitch all of the lining, but if I'm not mistaken, oh, this is so pretty. Yay, I really like when stuff lines up nicely. That's a zipper inside. Very nice, I'm happy. I think I'm going to check my instructions, but I think it's literally sew the waistband and hem, and that's it. I'm finished! My God, I am going to have to stop for lunch. I need to go to the shop for lunch, so maybe I need to stop now to not be starving when I go to the shop. Oh, but when the finish line is so close, it's like, want to go, but at the same time, it's still going to take long enough for me to get hangry. So probably lunch break first. I'm testing different options, but I don't think my machine comes with a blind hem stitch. I think it's called the blind hem, the one where it's like just one stitch on the other side. I've tried a few options that look like what you see online, but they don't make it, you know, it stitches the same on both sides. So I guess I'm just going to do a straight hem. I could do it by hand, but I don't think I value the time and the finish enough. No. Stop looking at me telling me I'm lazy. I think it's fine, because really the hem is going to be so near my feet. No one's gonna see it. No one's gonna see the line of stitching. So I can't do it by machine. I don't want to do it by hand. I don't know. It just feels like the hem on a long dress, which is not long to the floor. I don't know. I feel like, still thinking. Hey, back from a run. So I told you I was going on a lunch break, and it's now almost 3 p.m. So I went to the shop. Then I was like, oh, I'm not so hungry yet. Went for a run. Came back from my run, was absolutely starving because, I don't know, doesn't make sense. I was going to say I run so slow, so it took forever, but actually I did a time-based run, so it can't have taken longer than planned. Well, it felt like it took forever, and I was very hungry by the time I came home, so I had lunch, and now I just wanted to show you. I've been absolutely obsessed with those guys. I used to love them as a child, and don't ask me why, I'm just like having so many of them at the moment. So it's from Kinder, and it's called Kinder Delice, which means like delicious. It's chocolate cake with a milk mousse in the middle. There's a tiny bit of chocolate ganache, and then it's enrobed in chocolate. And I don't know if you watched all the mess behind it. You need to do the washing up. I don't know if you watched Gourmet Makes from Bon Appetit, or now Claire Safix has like retaken the series and she recreates recipes from scratch. But really used to like Gourmet Makes, and so I made myself a Noémie made Kinder Delice. You see the inspiration, right? Well, this was a giant one, so it was a loaf cake, and I did enrobe it in chocolate, as you should. But so I feel like this is so nice. This is going to bring shame to those guys. So yeah, I was eating at Friends yesterday and I brought my giant gourmet homemade Kinder Delice and they were really, really impressed and really happy. And I'm glad I have a little bit left over so I can have some now. So I'm going to have that, have my shower, and then going back to sewing that dress. And I think I'm going to do it by hand, guys. I'm pretty much decided of doing the stitch in the ditch by hand. I mean, it is not going to be a stitch in the ditch. It's going to be a slip stitch. But I think it's going to be by hand. Who am I sewing by hand? When I told my wife I was going to finish the hem by hand, she was like, by hand? My goodness, like she doesn't recognize me anymore. Maybe I've been exchanged with a robot, who knows? You don't have the smell, but you'll be pleased to know that I have showered and I am now hand basting the lining of the dress. I really thought that I would sew it by hand, but I still feel like it's gonna be so well attached with the machine. I don't know. I know that hand sewing can be really strong, but because I haven't done much of it, I still have a bit the thing in my head where I feel like a sewing machine stitch is so much stronger. And so I thought a lot about it. And I decided what I'm gonna do is now, what I'm doing, basting by hand the entire lining. This way, the hope I have is that I do a stitch in the ditch and it's perfect after one go. And it's a beautiful work and it's great and we are all very happy. That's kind of what I'm hoping. For the hem, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I am going to do it by hand. I mean, the good thing about being off sick, you know, if you have to find positive in those things, is that I have more time. And also, I think sitting down and sewing by hand can be a quite, you know, more restful activity, and that it could be fine. And I'm kind of like, well, if I don't do a bit of hand sewing now and I'm literally forced to stay home and do a bit less, when would I do it? So that's kind of where I'm standing at the moment. I really wanted to go and do hand sewing on the couch, like snuggling next to Milo, but then I realized I have so many pins going on and everything. I think it's going to be easier to stay at the table, sadly. So yeah, hand basting, doing this, and then going to figure out, maybe that's not great. No, my lining is starting to get twisted. I don't know if you see, but like as I'm basting, the lining is twisting slightly. So I'm going to have to do something about that. But yeah, otherwise, generally things are fine. Well, not that my lining's all twisted. I don't know if things are fine. You always have a bit extra fabric that gathers at the back from the lining, don't you? Like, it's always a bit more in the lining that you then need to like ease in some way. It's annoying. Why? Yes. This is exactly what needed to happen. I am really, really pleased. So basting everything by hand doesn't take that long because obviously you just, you know, place it so that it's vaguely fine. And then one line stitch in the ditch, so it's quite neat at the front. And yes, I'm very pleased. That was a good use of my time to do the basting. It looks really neat now, so I am really pleased with the results here. I've done stitch in the ditch quite a few times now, and I think we are on my most successful yet. So now I'm really pleased, really pleased. This is so pretty. Okido, then pressing the hem and sewing the hem, and then we are finished. But I'm also getting really tired. I think it's the run. Shouldn't have run. I'm like totally dying. Okay, see you on the other side once I've removed my basting stitches. My tea's been brewing for 20 minutes. Am I the only one doing this? I always put my tea to brew. I think I'm definitely not going to forget to pick it up in 2 minutes. And now it's 20 minutes. So it's always like this with my tea. What I sew, I will never learn, apparently. I am very unsure, and actually I'm starting to feel like I'm really tired, and so I'm incapable of making the decision, which is how much do I crop this. I mean, it's really hard to show you obviously because you're seeing it from above, and I have, here we are. Maybe I just leave it like this so it's long. I mean, it's a wedding guest dress, so I think it's fine for it to be long. The hem is going to be 1.5 centimeters. See, because I'm already not very tall, I wonder if this length makes me look shorter. My wife is at work and I don't think she's going to be able to answer. What do I do? What do I do? Milo, what do you think? What length do I make it? You know what? I'm going to do the 1.5 centimeter hem. And this way it's on the... Great, Milo. Thank you. Perfect to look at the length of the dress now. Yeah, I'm going to keep it long. I'm going to do 1.5 centimeters hem and we're gonna call it a day. Okay, guys, several things. First, I was really too tired and I could not finish the hem today. I think I also would like my wife to have a look at the length and tell me. I think I lean towards keeping it the full length and just hemming as it is, but I think a second opinion would comfort me into my decision. And finally, I think, I can't see it now, but when I was wearing just before the bodice, I saw some pulling here, and I think it's because the lining has been twisted inside. And I resorbed the extra lining in this little tuck here. And I don't think it was a good move because there's definitely now a drag line when I wear the bodice. I think I'm at the point where, you know, I want to do this properly. The dress has been so nicely made so far. I mean, except for this. Okay, but except that it's really nicely made, and I think if it's just a question, so obviously I'm saying just in question of unpicking all of this, and this is the bobbin thread as well, so it wouldn't be the worst to go and get this out. Imagine I get all of this out, I try to realign the bodice better and to distribute the excess a bit better, and hopefully I don't have a drag line on myself. I have plans for the evening, so I think I'm going to leave it for today, retry it tomorrow morning, check if the drag line is actually a thing or if it's in my head, and then hem the dress and maybe redo the lining if I think it's necessary. Which means that I don't think there's going to be a video on Friday. Like, I don't know if I can make those two last things on Friday because I have medical appointments to go to on Friday, so I don't know how much time I'll have to finish the dress and everything. Normally my video comes up at 11 a.m. Brussels time, so it might be for Monday. I mean, I'm going to see how it goes, or maybe Friday end of the day, but I'm just like not, I mean, you guys were so nice. I think it made me more relaxed as well. Also, I've been sick all week, so just like, it's going to be how it is. Going to try to finish this, but if it doesn't work out, I mean, if it's for Monday, good video for Monday. The only reason I wanted it out before is because I have the code for the Lockhart, but well, have the code if you want 20% off. It's all in the description. I'll say it back at the end, but if it's Monday, you still have about a week to get the pattern if you want it, so hopefully it's fine. Milo has not gone for a run today, has not sewn a dress today, and he's somehow very tired. I always find that he looks like an emo singer with his eyeliner. Don't you think? It's like really like My Chemical Romance type of vibe. Reminds me of being young. Yeah, bye Milo, bye. So the bit I'm talking about is this. This is because the lining is pulling underneath. And yeah, I think that could be fixed and make the dress perfect, because that's a bit of a shame. It's also right in the middle of my bust. So we're going to unpick, resew, and yeah, and then just the hem. My wife said the length was good, so I'm just going to hem it as it says in the pattern, except that I'm going to do it by hand, and then we finished. I don't think I'll have time to do everything today, but I'm already going to start unpicking, basting if I have time, then we'll see. It's the next day. Yesterday I unpicked the bodice, and I thought it would be quite easy because I had couldn't pick the bobbin thread side, because that one is the side that was visible on the inside and the other side was in the ditch. So I was like, it's easy, just like unpick the bobbin thread, and thought it would be very smooth. But because of the interfacing, the thread kind of like sticks in, and it really took forever to unpick the bodice, so that took quite a while. And then I was really busy, and then today I have been exhausted. Exhausted until now. It's 5 p.m. and I have finally some energy, and so I just rebasted the bodice. I'm going to try it on now, basted, just to see if it looks like it's better. If it's fine, I'll go and sew it, and then we'll see. Yay! That is so much better. I'm very happy. I have pants with tie here, so realize you can see the tie of my pants. Lovely. Okay, I'm very, very happy with the bodice. I'm gonna sew. Okay, you can still see a bit of movement if I move, obviously, but standing straight, there isn't that bump that there was beforehand, so I think the lining is much better this way. This is so pretty, guys. We are reaching the finish line, so I'm literally going to sew this. Last time it was so easy. I really hope that... Yes, you want to come in? Come on, let me walk. Let me walk. So, sorry, I have my low between my legs. Very happy. Last time, oh, but you can have this, but I mean, at least it moves away, because before it was really stuck there. It seems like if I move, it kind of like still bumps out. Hopefully it'll be fine. But last time it took absolutely no time to sew the bodice after it was basted, so I'm going to do that now. Then I'm going to iron the end and sew the hem. I think I'll need to take my low out for a walk before that, but yeah, oh, we're reaching the end. Oh, soon have a dress. So cool. Gosh, I'm going to get lines frowning like this at my sewing machine. And that's it, that's sewn. So I feel like this line keeps coming back, it's annoying me. I'm trying to move and see like if it's only when I move, but yeah, it seems like it's staying kind of there. But well, at this point, I've tried, I've done all I can, and I think it's so frustrating. Okay, we're gonna, I can see it. It's just also because it's shiny, so it really catches the light. Well, guys, I tried everything. I tried. It's going to be how it is. Whatever. Why? Well, at this point, this is how it is. Okay, can I say it's frustrating me so much? That's all I can see, and I've like really tried, and after basting it, it wasn't really there. And yeah, it's... Okay, we're just going to have to deal with it, guys. I can't unpick it once more. Anyway, I don't really know what I can do at this point to get rid of this. Okay, so last step, but we're first going to take this one outside, is hemming the dress, and then we are done. At this point, I'm like, do I really want the hem to be done by hand? And the answer is I don't really know. Like, I have never done a hand-sewn hem because I never do hand sewing. But I also want it to be really nice. So I think what I'm gonna do is try it on a scrap of fabric, see how it feels, and then if I'm not 100%, I'm going to do it with the machine, because I prefer something neat with the machine than not neat by hand. But it can't be that complicated. I've looked at a few YouTube tutorials and it doesn't look like it's so difficult, but it's just like I've never done it, and at this point the dress is almost done. I'm like, it's gonna be so nice, but so yeah, so I think I'm going to give it a try and see how it goes. But yeah, that's really like the last step, and it's kind of torturing me. At least I have rechecked the length of the hem, and it seems like it's fairly even everywhere. Like I haven't done something where it's like short on one side or anything, so I don't have to re-equalize the dress. I'm literally just going to be able to press it and hem it. So that's good. Let's see how I go with the hemming. But at this point, it's probably for tomorrow because I have stuff to do in the evening, and that one to walk. Okay, I tried the hand stitching of the hem, and I'm quite happy at how invisible it is. The hem here, it's a bit bouncy, but I didn't press it super well. But yeah, so I'm going to do that on the actual dress and then we'll be done. I just wanted to add a quick tip for hand sewing, which I followed for my very first piece of string here, but then I got tired and didn't do it anymore. And you can see I'm really struggling. Your piece of thread should not be longer than your forearm, otherwise you're just gonna create knots and it's going to be a pain to sew. And honestly, I wanted to save time by having a long piece of thread, knowing the theory very well, and I did make a ton of knots and wasted a lot of time with this. When I had the right piece of thread, it actually went quite quickly. I think I took really a lot of time for the first half of the skirt and then it went better. Okay, so my friend came for the secret project I'm doing for her and it went really, really well. It's the type of thing when you put the garment on her and kind of looks like nothing, and then you attach everything, and once it's like pulled together, it really starts to look nice. So I'm really happy that it's like coming together. I feel like even for garment for myself, there's this moment when it's like, oh, it's all a disaster, and then, you know, you keep pushing and it looks nice. And so I'm at the stage where I really see that it's going to be nice. I think it's really motivating. And I think I'm gonna have it finished quite quickly now. Like, she had her first fitting, I think I'm gonna try to finish it, then she comes for the last fitting and then it's done. But this morning I have finished the hem of my dress. It took me an hour and 40 minutes. To be fair, I was much faster by the end. I think I kind of got the hang of the stitch I was doing. So pretty much what I was doing was catching just a few thread at the front and then going into the hem, a few millimeters into the hem, back out, catching a few centimeters of the front. And I am going to put the video here, but as you can see, it's really invisible, kind of on both sides. So it hurts me to say, because while doing it, I was really like, I'm never doing this again. This can't be worth it. No one's looking at my feet. This is taking so long. And especially because my wife was really not understanding. She was like, that's how it is. You spend 2 hours doing the hem and then you have the nice dress forever and blah, blah. And she was not, you know, I just wanted someone to be like, oh, poor thing, you're spending so long on this hem. I gave myself this sentence because no one said it to me. But yeah, no, I was globally, I'm happy of how it looks. And I think I will do it again. You definitely need a nice video on or something to entertain you while you're doing it, but it's a really nice finish. While doing it, I was hating it, and then I was like, oh my god, I spent an hour 40 on this, I'm never doing it again. But looking at it, I'm like, it's quite special. It really looks like you've made something special, so that's quite nice. So that's it. I have finished the dress. I have asked my wife before she left to quickly film me wearing it so you can see the like full length thing and see how it is worn. So I will put that in the conclusion. So now my friend left at 2 p.m. so I just had lunch because I was literally fainting by that point. I'm quickly going to do a little bit of groceries and then I'm going to film the conclusion, and then the video's finished, even though it feels like I've been filming this dress forever now. It took so long, but we're reaching the end. So thank you so much for you guys for watching this part of the vlog, and now we're going to meet the people who cared only about the conclusion for the conclusion part. Hi, that's it. We reached the end of the video and I can finally show you my Lockhart dress. So my wife filmed a few clips of me wearing it, so I'll show you that while I talk about it. So for my size, I was a size 12 for high bust and waist, and then a size 16 at the hips. So it was quite easy to grade because I didn't have to do a full bust adjustment, being a size 12 all throughout the top. But then for the hips, being a size 16, I didn't really want to grade 2 sizes because I didn't want to have to grade the pattern out too much. But I did grade to a size 14. I wasn't being vain and hoping that I would again like fit into a size smaller than what I am, not at all. I checked the finished garment measurements and then I checked that I would fit into a size 14 at the hips. However, the way Helen recommends to grade at the hips is to trace the line from top to bottom like this, and obviously if I trace a line like this at the hips, I would still be way too close to a size 12 to really fit in it. So I have decided to grade a little bit more aggressively and to grade like that, and to kind of make it happen around the pockets, that I would be a size 14 at the hips to make sure that I would be comfortable here and that I would be able to move. I sewed my dress in a cotton satin, so it was very easy to sew because it was a very stable cotton, so it was easy to cut, easy to sew, and it made the whole process a lot easier than if you chose a more difficult fabric. So regardless of the pattern, the fabric you choose can make your experience a lot easier or harder, and in my case it was absolutely a dream and very easy to sew. The pattern recommended 2.70 m for my size, but I actually used only 1.70 m. I had a whole meter of fabric left over. Obviously that is not any fault to the pattern. I always do quite a Tetris with my pieces, and so it's normal that I always end up with a bit more fabric left over. It's just when I look at the price, I actually paid for 38 euros of fabric, and in the end I'm going to use 25 of those 38 euros of fabric. So 25 euros plus thread and zipper, that brings me to a total of 30 euros for this dress that I'm going to wear at a wedding, and that, I mean, I think you can agree that it looks quite chic. So I feel like 30 euros, quite a bargain for this dress. To be honest, I'm not sure what I'm going to make with the 1 meter left over. That's a bit of an awkward length, and also it's quite a shiny formal fabric, so I'm not sure what I'm going to make with the leftovers, but we'll see when the inspiration strikes. It's quite stable cotton, so I can do quite a lot with it. The reason why I managed to squeeze so much of the pattern in so little of the fabric is that my fabric here is non-directional, so I could put the pieces like this instead of having to put the skirts on top of one another on the fabric, and that made me gain a lot of space. Also, I managed to cut the lining fully in the main fabric as well, so I didn't even have to buy extra fabric for the lining. For the Lockhart now, for really the pattern, I have to say I was super impressed with the booklet. This was really beginner friendly. The pattern is advertised as intermediate, but honestly, I think if you were an overly confident beginner like I used to be, the booklet has so many details you could probably manage if you took your time and if you read everything carefully. For example, even for the interfusible stage, they tell you how to put it on, explain everything to you. There are 4 check-in fitting points which help you to fit the pattern perfectly to you. So I think if you take the time, go carefully, read everything that is being given to you in the booklet, I think you could actually make this pattern without being too advanced. Probably it was easier for me because I made the dress. If you're making the jumpsuit, there's fitting pants involved. That's probably a little bit harder, so to keep in mind. But for the dress version, I thought it was a breeze, and especially really well explained. Personally, the bust for me ended up a little bit big, but I did manage to sort that out. At the moment I put the zipper, I asked for my wife for help, and she helped me place the zipper at the right spot so that the bust wouldn't be too wide. But naturally, the way I cut it, it was a bit wide for me, and I was fitting exactly into the measurement of a size 12, so I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but I didn't mind having a little bit extra space to play with, and I preferred that than it being too small for sure. I have to say, I'm not sure how you would fit this pattern on your own. I'm sure it's possible with patience and a lot of motivation, but it was much easier to have someone to help you. For example, my wife helped me to make sure that the straps would cover my bra straps here at the front, that I could do it myself, but she also made sure that it was covering them at the back, and that you really need someone to help you because it's basically impossible to go and reach at the back yourself. And for the zipper, I was really happy to have her as well to help me make sure the zipper closed properly and was at the right tightness. She really fitted me all the way down here so that it would kind of like hug the bottom of my back in a nice way, and then flare out in the skirt. So having a body to help you with the fitting, I highly recommend for this pattern. The only place I didn't follow the instructions, except for basic stuff, like I would, for example, sew all the different panels of the top before going to iron and everything. I would kind of batch the task and then move on to the ironing and everything, but that I'm not going to consider as not following the pattern. But the only place I really didn't follow the pattern is that I put the top of my zipper first and then attach the bottom, instead of attaching the bottom and then checking the top. I wanted to do this to make sure that the top would match properly, and then I realized that actually if I had read the instructions exactly the right way, I could have made the waistline match perfectly, which I have not done, and that is my fault for not following the instructions properly. So here I'm a little bit frustrated at myself because I could have had the perfect dress and I have this little mistake on it. It's fine to not have started at the bottom like she recommends, but however, you should start with the waistline to make sure the waistline is aligned, and then sew the bottom and the top and make sure that everything's aligned. I really hesitated between the thinner and the wider straps because I wanted straps that would cover my bra straps, and I thought the wider straps would do that job better. But actually, I have to say I'm really happy I went with the thinner straps. My wife recommended I went with the thinner straps, and I'm happy I followed her advice because I do think it looks a lot more chic and a lot more delicate for going as a wedding guest with the thinner straps than the wider straps. But if you do want more coverage over your bra straps, but if it's like this, I think it really isn't too bad. If you want to fully hide your straps, then you could go with the wider strap. Finally, I decided to hand sew the hem to make it fully invisible. And even though it was quite a long process, I'm really happy I did this because it really allowed for a super clean finish, and I'm really glad I did so. So if you are making yourself a very special wedding guest outfit, I recommend you actually taking the time to do the hem by hand. I never ever sew by hand, so for me to say this, it truly means something, but I think it made for a very nice finish. I also want to say that I find the pattern in general really well finished. For example, Helen explains to you how to do this little tab at the end of your zipper so that if your zipper starts a bit longer than planned, you don't end up with just the raw end of the zipper and you have this nice little ended zipper in your dress. So globally, I'm extremely happy with the Lockhart pattern. Honestly, at the moment, I'm a bit on the heavier side for me, weight-wise. And this pattern really made me feel, again, like good in my body. Feeling this, I feel like the princess seam that kind of hug you under the breast and slim you here have been really making me feel really nice. So it's been really lovely to be feeling good in a dress. So honestly, and you have the princess seams, so you are technically a princess. So honestly, I have been really enjoying every time I try this on. I felt really pretty and happy, so I have to say it's made me feel a lot better about my body lately. Also, I personally do like that the cleavage is non-existent. It's something that I generally feel a bit self-conscious about, so having this nicely covered here, I find that it's not too modest in the sense that I don't feel like old-fashioned and not sexy in a sense because I still have my shoulders on show, but the fact that I don't have any cleavage showing makes me very comfortable. As I said, it was very easy to sew and the booklets were super well made, so generally I have only good things to say about the Lockhart. Obviously I didn't try the jumpsuit version, but I can imagine that's also very nice. Oh, I have not said, but I made it in the midi version. It's a bit long on me because I'm a bit vertically challenged, but I'm actually 1m65 and the pattern has been drafted for someone that's 1m68. So that's why the midi version looks a little bit long on me, but I think that's a length I was happy to have because it looks a little bit more formal, like between the midi and the full length without having to commit to the full length. I also wanted to say, if you were a chill bride and you wanted to make your own wedding dress, I have kind of done a little montage here to let you imagine what it could be like. I really love those fabrics that have pearls on them, so that's the example here. Would imagine a pearled bodice and then a really pretty white satin underneath. That could be lovely. And then for the jumpsuit version, because in Belgium we really often have the civil ceremony on a separate day from the rest of the weddings, and so for the civil ceremony it's quite fashionable to wear a jumpsuit, so you could wear the jumpsuit version, and I have this version with flowery lace on top. And I also thought, imagine a beautiful lined lace bodice and then underneath a beautiful white fabric. I think it could be really nice. So maybe if you are up for making your own wedding outfit, that's also a pattern that's an option for you. I was really thinking about it and really finding that it was a good option, so that's why I wanted to show you this to get you inspired if you're thinking about making your own wedding dress but aren't sure where to start. Just inspiration for you. Finally, I just want to say, if you are interested in getting the Lockhart, I have a discount code to get you 20% off the pattern until the end of June, so we are reaching the end of the discount. I'm not getting anything with this discount. It is truly a present from me and Helen's Closet to you, so I bought the pattern myself using my own code, so I don't get anything from it. It's just, if you want it, it's there. And yeah, I think I said everything I wanted to say. I feel really happy, really pretty, and I just want to remind you that you can make anything, including beautiful wedding guest outfits if you are going to some weddings, or if you just want to look beautiful. You don't need an event to wear your pretty dress to, just wear it in your living room like I'm doing now and you're gonna feel great. So yeah, thank you for watching. Give this video a like if you liked it. If you watched the whole vlog section, well done to you. It was a bit long, I know. And yeah, thank you so much. Don't hesitate to subscribe if you want to come back to my channel in the future, and I'll see you next time. Bye!